While Christopher Nolan films might defy conventional understanding, they still have to obey some tenets of Hollywood screenwriting, meaning they need an antagonist. For Tenet, the villain is Andrei Sator, a Russian arms dealer and representative for the future. He acts as a go-between for the Descendants, a group from the future that's trying to wipe out the past. Sator was an inhabitant of a Soviet closed city, and it was his hometown in particular where a devastating nuclear accident occurred. He was tasked with recovering some of the plutonium released by the incident, and it was here where the future first made contact with him. Because of Satur's proximity to the fall of the Soviet Union, he was around during the point in history where multiple nuclear weapon sites were at their least secure. Its exposure to such high amounts of radioactivity is what caused Satur to develop terminal pancreatic cancer. This cancer is part of why he's willing to work with the future, as using the algorithm could cause the past to be destroyed or irrevocably altered. While Satur's motives are clear, the reason why the Descendants are willing to destroy the past is not answered until about two-thirds of the way through the film, when Sator delivers a poetically phrased line, "Their oceans rose and the rivers ran dry." While made obliquely, the quote is a clear reference to climate change. The world the Descendants live in is so dramatically altered by the actions of their fossil fuel-using predecessors that they would risk being erased from the timeline altogether just for the chance to live in a better world. And even if they do wipe out the past, they might just agree with Satur's sentiment about no one deserving to live. To understand Satur and the Descendants, one needs to first understand Tenet's unique method of time travel, inversion. When a material or person is inverted, its relationship to the flow of time is changed. Instead of moving from the past to the future, it moves from the future to the past. By inverting, traveling back a period of time, either days or months or years, and then undoing the inversion process, a person can travel back and forth throughout the timeline freely. But time travel is conducted at a 1:1 speed, meaning you can't jump 100 years into the past because doing so would first require you to live 100 years. Because of this inability to directly affect events occurring in the distant past, the Descendants from the future need a person to act as their proxy. In this case, that person is Andrei Satur, with a particular object that Descendants are going after being the algorithm. The algorithm is a formula with the ability to invert the flow of time itself. While inverting a person gives one access to an incredible suite of possibilities, it's limited by the fact that the flow of time is moving forward. Truly altering the events of the past without inverting the time stream is impossible. One of the motifs of the film is what's past is past. If the time stream was inverted, those inverted individuals moving back from the future would be traveling in the right direction and might be able to change the events of the past. Unfortunately for the Descendants, the creator of the algorithm split it into 9 separate parts and then scattered them throughout the past, hiding them in nuclear weapon sites. The best way to get close to Satur is through his wife Kat, who is an art appraiser, and that she has sold Satur a fake drawing by Francisco Goya, created by the art forger Aripo, possibly knowing that it was a forgery. He then meets with Kat and learns that Sator is blackmailing her with a forged drawing she had sold him to keep her from their son Max. She mentions that the last time she and Sator were truly happy was during a vacation in Vietnam on their yacht, up to the point where they had an argument. At one point in the film, Sator's wife, Kat, asks why he continues to abuse her instead of simply divorcing her. He answers that if he can't have her, no one can. She uses his answer to explain to the operatives of Tenet why Sator works with the descendants, stating that he believes if he can't live in the past, no one can. It is revealed that Sator is dying from inoperable pancreatic cancer and has turned omnicidal, believing that if he is to die, he would prefer to spread death to all humanity. Sator plans to use the plutonium to set off a doomsday device that will reverse entropy for the entire Earth, killing everything on it. Sator plans to return to a time in the past when he was happy with his wife and then set off the device, which is connected to a dead man's switch linked to his heartbeat. The protagonist, Neil and Kat, follow Sator backwards in time, traveling in a cargo ship container back to Oslo. They infiltrate the Freeport Art Storage Facility once again, where they enter another temporal style that allows Kat to move forwards through time again and have her gunshot wound healed, and where they find that the protagonist was in fact the masked assailant during their first operation in the warehouse. Further back in the past, a military operation is then launched whereby the protagonist and Neil attempt to retrieve the doomsday device from an abandoned Soviet-era city, while Kat is with her husband on his yacht, aiming to prevent him from killing himself before the doomsday device is retrieved.